This is the HiDock H1, and it is a slab of pure retro goodness. I mean, it's a piece of cutting-edge AI technology. I mean, it's both, okay? I'd like to see you try and make this sound sexy. Just watch the video.
Hey guys, so as a tech reviewer, a lot of tech passes my desk and I always try to pick the most interesting or most innovative products to share with you guys. Now, because of the sheer volume of products coming out every year, once I'm done reviewing them, oftentimes they'll get sold or I'll give them away before moving on to the next product. That's just how the review game works. But every now and then, a product comes in that is just so useful, so practical, that it earns itself a permanent spot on my desk. This is definitely one of those products. Let's ramble.
Hold up, place go wild when I pull up. They all on me like it wants.
So this awesome retro looking piece of tech is the HiDock H1, and it is a lot of things. As you can probably tell from all the ports, it's an 11-in-1 docking station, which means that it can streamline your entire workspace by turning a single port on your laptop into 11 connections, including 2 HDMI ports for a dual 4K monitor support, as well as an Ethernet port and an SD card, micro SD card slot, just to name a few, all while powering the laptop as well. And we'll get back to the docking capabilities in more detail in just a minute, but what really sets this docking station apart is that it's also the very first ChatGPT powered audio dock with AI highlighting transcriptions and AI summaries. And that makes the HiDock H1 easily the most versatile and the most useful single docking station I've ever used. Now, before I take you through all the features, let's have a quick look at what's in the box. The packaging looks clean and simple. We have the HiDock itself, let's save that for last. And here we have what looks like an open-ear headphone and its docking station, with some pogo pins on the side. A little instruction manual, which I hope we won't be needing. And then there's a power cable, which belongs to the power brick, a USB-C to USB-C cable, a bit of Velcro, I guess, to tidy up the cables, and a USB-A to USB-C cable. And then there's a pretty hefty power brick, and there's a good reason why it's so hefty. We'll get to that in just a minute. But first, let's open up this nice looking pouch, which carries the main event, the actual HiDock H1. And I have to say, I'm really digging this design. Very retro, almost reminiscent of the iconic phone from Charlie's Angels. Yeah, I'm that old. What can I say? I really like these retro designs, but the insides of this thing are anything but retro. Starting off with the 11 ports, and I love the way they're laid out, by the way, with all the main connectivity ports on the back, allowing the cables to be out of sight. I hate it when it's on the front and it gets all tangled, and the ports that do require easy access are conveniently placed on the side. On the back, we have the DC power plug, which is where that beefy power brick comes in, because it allows the docking station to deliver up to 100 watts of charging, meaning it can charge my laptop plus other devices at the same time. So I don't need an additional charger for my MacBook, which is a big deal for me, especially when I'm taking this thing with me while traveling. The laptop connects to the dock via USB-C next to the power plug, opening it up to all the connectivity ports to the right of it, being 2 HDMI ports, both delivering 4K HDR at 60 Hz. We have a fast 10 gigabits per second USB-C port next to that, a fast 10 gigabits per second USB-A port, and a 5 gigabits per second USB-A port for those less demanding accessories. The Ethernet port is also really nice and fast at 2.5 gigabits E, and then on the other side we have our SD and micro SD card slots for easy access and file transfers, and an 18 watts 10 gigabits per second USB-C port, which can serve both as a data port and a fast charging outlet. So as you can see, pretty much all of the ports you need, all packed into this relatively small docking station. It's even more impressive when you consider that this is not just a docking station, but it's also a fully fledged conferencing system that works not only on macOS and Windows, but it can also be hooked up to iOS or Android devices. All you need to do is press the Bluetooth button on the side of the H1 and connect it to your phone via the built-in Bluetooth 5.2 connection by choosing HiDock H1 from your phone's Bluetooth menu. Once connected, it serves as both a speaker and a microphone, enabling you to record pretty much any sound coming from your phone, which of course includes phone calls, but you can just as easily record a podcast or an online course, for instance, which is really useful because it can also transcribe and summarize those into neatly structured notes for you. On the desktop, it works pretty much the same. It will simply serve as your mic and your speaker for any conferencing app you like, whether it's Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, Discord, FaceTime, Skype, WhatsApp. doesn't matter. It works with all of them. But instead of frantically typing or scribbling notes while you try to keep up with your call or meeting, you can just focus on being present in the meeting and let the HiDock H1 worry about the rest. It comes with a lifetime free transcription service, so you can be assured that it will be making accurate transcriptions of all of your calls and meetings while you pay attention. So let me show you how it works on my MacBook, and after that I'll show you why this thing has also become my favorite option for taking and making phone calls. So in your meeting software of choice on your computer, you just treat it like any other audio setup and choose it to be your main audio source and microphone. The HiDock will now be your mic and speaker. The volume dial is actually a multi-function button because clicking on it turns it into a play-pause button. Of course, there's your standard buttons for answering and ending calls and a mute button. Now, the not so obvious button at the top right is called the HiDock key, and it's used to start and stop recording by long pressing it for 1.5 seconds. The reason why it requires a long press is because a quick press will allow you to set markers during meetings if you wish to indicate parts of the meeting that you feel are particularly important. So to be sure that these points will be prioritized during the transcription analysis later on. Now, the red slider on the left is one of my favorite features. A lot of modern devices offer some form of active noise cancellation, but that's usually unidirectional, which means that it only cancels the noise on your end. Think of Apple AirPods, for example. But the noise cancellation on the HiDock H1 is bidirectional, which means you can actively control the amount of noise cancelling for the person on the other end. And that's a very nifty feature, especially when making a phone call with a friend who's in a very noisy environment.
Hey Patrick, how you doing? What are you up to?
Good. Yeah, I'm using WhatsApp, so I'm not too sure about the call quality, so I want to keep that as a caveat.
I couldn't tell the difference, to be honest. It looks pretty clear to me over here.
Yes.
Can you hear my keyboard typing, or I still have the, maybe I'll type angrier.
Oh, but that's actually really good. I just slid the whole thing up and I hear 0 clicking. Are you still clicking?
Yeah, I'm typing.
Oh my God. I really hope this comes through in the recording because, can you type again and talk? And then if I move up the slider, which I do now, I don't hear any typing. Are you still typing?
I haven't stopped typing. Literally, I'm typing non-stop.
That's amazing. I knew it was going to be good, but yeah,
If you turn it off, can you hear the typing?
Well, yeah, if I turn it on, I can hear it clearly. But the thing is, I expected your voice to be really muffled. I was thinking about maybe halfway. You'll find the sweet spot or something. It's all the way up and you're still pretty clear.
Amazing.
I wonder what it's like when you're in a construction site or something, but this is very impressive, really.
Yeah. I'm going to stop typing now because my hands are hurting.
Yeah. So yeah, as you can tell, it makes a pretty significant difference. And I love that you get to fine tune the amount of noise cancelling to find that sweet spot between noise suppression and call clarity. If you're in an office environment and you need some extra privacy, that's where this detachable E1 earphone comes in. This is not an in-ear bud, but it's an on-ear, open-ear headphone. And the design is super nifty because depending on how you twist the earbud, it fits either on your left or your right ear. Really clever. Now this is all great stuff. I mean, the docking capabilities and call features alone would make me consider picking one of these up, but the real magic happens after the calls have ended and you take the recording into HiNotes, which is HiDock's transcription service. Your meeting recordings are initially stored locally on the dock. To access them, you visit the HiNotes website, upload the recording, and from there you'll see your transcript displayed. Now, I mentioned earlier that the HiDock H1 comes with a lifetime free transcription service, so you get that regardless. If you feel like you require some extra features, like a comprehensive AI summary of your transcript or multiple speaker identification, you can adjust your membership accordingly. Some examples of pro features that are probably worth considering are sharing to Google Doc, Microsoft OneNote, Notion, and social media. Personally, I really like the multi-speaker identification. I still run my daytime business, which involves regular Zoom meetings and board meetings over Zoom or other meeting apps, and to have that app basically draft the minutes for me, segmented by speakers, and spit out a list of action items to boot, you can't imagine how much time that saves me. So yeah, I really appreciate that you get all the basic functionality for free, and if you need more, you can add it on in a modular way as you see fit. So guys, the HiDock H1 definitely goes on my list of winners this year. If you make phone calls for work on the regular or for school, this is definitely a very, very helpful tool. And of course, on top of that, you get that 11-in-1 docking station. I took it with me on a weekend trip recently and I didn't need much else. It was my laptop charger, my phone charger, my docking station, station, and we even used it as a Bluetooth speaker to listen to some music in the hotel room. If you want to check it out for yourself, there will be links in the description below. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it one of these. It really does help the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.